Hello, everyone, and welcome again to VO in Stereo. I'm your host, Jared Breshers, along with
Stephen Coghill.
today, we've got a guest, and it's a fun guest from across the pond. Please help me welcome British Asian voice actor, extreme, and she's been known to be on screen too, Bhav Parmar. Parmar,
It was
Parmar,
one
Parmar, Parmar, Parmar.
Palmer Farmer. I was called Palmer Farmer Joe back in school, so that's not. It's not unknown to me.
I can't even tell you what I was called in school, completely inappropriate.
Oh, thank you for that wonderful introduction. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you so much for being here and carving out the time. And really, it's a really big different time difference. So really, thank you for being here.
No probs.
I hand it off to Steven because I have problems staying on track. So I'm going to hand it off to him, and he's going to kick the thing off for us.
Wicked.
He really does. Don't let it bother you. It's fine. So, Bob, so lovely to see you. Thank you for being on. I appreciate it.
No probs.
I know it's late there. Not that late, but later than here at least. My first question to you is where did you grow up? Where are you from?
Where did I grow up? I was born in kind of the Midlands area of the UK, so in a place called Birmingham. Anytime I say that, everyone's always like, "Oh, as in Alabama, Birmingham." I'm like, no. UK Birmingham. Basically in the Midlands
It
area.
must be the accent.
Yeah, must be. Must be and it's kind of the outskirts. So people in my area are really known for their thick accent. They're always like they talk like this. So like you can really tell when they're from that area. And then but I was born in kind of the outskirts, so I had a bit more of a kind of a southern twang, as it were. So yeah, that's where I was born. And then when I went to study, I moved up north to Leeds, and I was there for a few years. And then I moved back down to London. So I've kind of done the trip up and the trip back down. So yeah, all of this.
That's awesome. Were your did you have like brothers and sisters growing up?
I did. So I've got one older brother and I've got one older sister as well. There's a bit of an age gap between me and my sister, so I'd say about 11 years. So yes, but so when I was growing up, she was kind of like my second mom, and it's kind of nice to have a cool kind of older sibling who you could just do things with, and it'd be all good. And yeah, and they also kind of grew up out of that area, got married and moved to London. So we're all kind of, it's just my mum and dad that are back in Birmingham. So yeah, so all good. They have like their own family now. My brother's just had a little baby boy in COVID, and my sister's got two little ones. But yeah, they kind of took the kind of non-traditional or the traditional route. So my sister's an optometrist and eye doctor, and my brother works in construction. So as a project manager. So yeah, there's me, little old me, kind of coming along, and I'm wanting to work on screen and wanting to work behind the mic. So yeah.
So with your you said your siblings aren't really that creative. So how did the creative bug hit you?
I'd say they are creative. I think they just didn't take the creative path. So my sister did a lot of. She's very good at kind of sewing, and she's very good at painting. That's two things my sister does. My brother was a musician. He used to play a lot of Indian instruments. I don't know whether you've ever seen the doll drums, like the ones that they carry around the neck, and they play, or even the ones sitting down when people are kind of. My brother played all of that. He played the guitar, which I can see you've got wonderful guitars behind you. He played the harmonium, which is the one where you sit and it's kind of like a sat down accordion. So my brother was quite musical. And my dad when he was in his I'd say his kind of prime, he used to do video recordings for like all the weddings that used to happen in the community. So, I used to watch him on his old kind of mixer doing all the editing on tape, and, having to do kind of get out the video, and like Indian weddings aren't short, they're 5, 6, 7 hours sometimes. So editing that, like the way they used to do it back then, was super interesting. And so my dad was always known as the guy with the kind of cam on his shoulders. So I think with a mix of all of that, yeah, I think that's kind of where it came from.
So did your dad make videos with you as a kid and goofing around, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I say we did. I mean, I wish that we kind of had access to all of them still, but there were loads of times that, you know, when dad wasn't working, it was used to be like kind of picking up the camera, making home videos. So yeah, for sure, for sure. And I think, you know, that's what kind of, I think having that kind of makes you confident about kind of being in front of the camera and understanding what it is and what it does and, you know, how to work. So yeah, definitely.
Free training.
Free training, free training. Yeah, definitely picked up
That'll
some editing tips from my dad, so it's good. It's good.
And
That's
learning
awesome.
that as a love with your parent had to have been uniquely special too, because a lot of people don't get that kind of a depth within. Like, what probably wasn't more so learning for you, it was probably just fun, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
just being there and like soaking it in as a sponge. I think that's pretty cool. So,
I definitely think so, because I think if it's just there, then you know you're more likely to kind of just take it in. And I think that's what it was. It wasn't a thing that, you know, you kind of can dip in and out of it as well. It's not a thing that you're sat down and it's solidly kind of conscious learning. You know, it's fun. And when you're a kid, you know, you are a sponge and you just want to take everything in. So I think, yeah, I definitely think it was good. And because I was kind of like the youngest as well, I was always the one that was like, you know, the kind of the one the most looked after by the siblings. So it used to be something of like, oh yeah, Bab, why don't you go sit down with dad, and, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, so it did, yeah, it definitely had its I think I caught a bit of a bug. So yeah.
very
For
cool.
sure. Did you have any shows that you watch or any kind of person or people that influenced you to kind of
Oh,
want to
I'd
do this
say
further?
I'd say see, I'd say like I grew up on a lot of I don't know whether you guys have this channel actually in the US, but it was called Trouble. I don't know whether you remember that. It used
Well,
to have
we
this
found lots of
green
trouble, but
tea.
there wasn't a channel for it.
It was a green tea, and that channel shut down about, I think, when I was in like my late teens or whatnot. But that show had so many great it was where, like, you know, Sister Sister and My Wife and Kids and Hang Time and Saved by the Bell. It used to be all that kind of stuff, which is all coming back now. But it used to be all that kind of stuff. And I wouldn't say there was anything in particular. What got me was a lot of the comedy. I just used to love that, be it kind of very underplayed comedy, you know, the kind of wit and sarcasm that we have a lot in the UK, or be it the kind of more slapstick, you know, big comedy. It definitely got me. And that's what I used to watch. I used to follow that kind of genre rather than, you know, rather than a particular person. And I just loved it. I'm still such an oddball in the family. I'd come out with sarcastic comments when I really shouldn't, and, you know, like goofing around. And my husband is exactly the same. I don't think either of us are ever going to grow up. We said that to each other yesterday. We were goofing around about something, and we were like, we're nearly 30, but we're just so goofy. And it was like, yeah, that's cool, it's fine. So yeah, I feel like that's kind of the stuff that got me, rather than say a particular person. But yeah, yeah.
Sure. Were you in school? Were you like a funny kid? Were you like a popular person? Did you like goof around and were
I
you in like were you in drama and that sort of thing? Was it
Yeah, no, I was. So I did drama, and I did so National Youth Theatre was a big thing here in the UK. And I got into that when I was 16, and they do shows every year, and you travel and you do touring stuff, you know, for the 3 or 4 weeks of the 6 weeks that you have off. So I was in that like every year from the age of kind of 16 going into, like, you know, late teens. So that used to be my kind of goofing around area. I took drama when I was at secondary school, when I was at which is high school, and then I took it at university level as well, college level. So I was, you know, it's always kind of been a part of me. But going back to your question, I was actually quite a shy kid in a group of, like, there were 5 of us who were just really shy, but we were all very goofy in our own little circle. So I think that as I progressively kind of did shows and things like that, I kind of embraced that goofiness and was just like that in, in kind of normal life. But we did have this kind of close knit, especially in kind of high school. We had this close knit group who we just used to hang around with, and yeah. And I wasn't overly popular, but have to say I did like kind of the idea of goofing around. You know, if something was funny and it's like, well, why not do it? You know, it's that kind of thing. So yeah, little risk taker in me.
yeah, so unafraid to be creative.
Yeah, basically,
Easy.
basically,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, that's well, that can carry a long way, for sure. And so, so where did that lead you? Like you're in school, and you're in the arts, and then where did you go from there? Did you work for a while, or did you want to really pursue drama and acting full time?
So once I got out of university, so I did writing, directing, and acting in university because I didn't really know. It's not more that I didn't know; it's more that I wanted to do all of those things. I was really wanted to go into directing. I didn't know how necessarily, but I thought if I did all three, then I would find out more about what I wanted to do. And when I got out of uni, that's when I wanted to do kind of acting. That's when I figured out actually I want to do that more. So I went to London. I trained for another year in London, and I did this kind of back and forth flip between London and Birmingham, and it was really cool. I jumped into London, the London scene for about 6 months. And then, as any kind of newbie does, I ran out of money very quickly. It's an expensive city to live in, like, the comparison of New York. Ran out of a bit of cash, went back home again. And in that time I was working, but I was also working for a production company as well. So I was helping them with their admin and casting and doing all the logistics for them, which was great because I basically got to see the other side of the world, or the other side of the industry. And as I was doing that, I was auditioning, and I was really lucky that I think in the first 2 or 3 months of graduating, I got an agent. So I was just thrown into all these types of castings. And at that time, there weren't many kind of young, I'd say not feisty, but I was quite like off the cuff. I wasn't this prim proper Indian girl. I was a bit edgy, and I don't think there were many of us out there. And they were looking to put people in, that was a time when they were looking to diversify their books. So I got into a really nice agency there, and they helped me kind of open doors. And then I moved to another agency. And as you do, you just move up the ladder. And so as I was just getting more and more work through and more opportunities, I just stayed in London. And then I just never looked back, and now I'm a Londoner. As it were. Yeah, I'd say I've forgotten all my Birmingham roots. Everyone's like, oh, you're not a Brummie anymore, but once you've lived in London for a few years, you kind of embrace that life, that kind of hubbub of the arts and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
So you've never really lived outside of the UK?
No, I haven't actually. I haven't. If you're gonna ask me where would I want to live, if you were, I went to India at the beginning of last year. And I would have loved to have lived in Mumbai just for a few months. It's a completely different place. It's like it's got this momentum to it, but it's really like that you do not know what you are going to be doing each day. It's just such an off the cuff kind of place to live. It's so busy, it's so fun, it's so kind of like creative, and so many different parts to Mumbai as well. But yeah, I think that would be somewhere I'd like to live, definitely, just
I
for a while.
seen, I think it was a picture in the early 90s of Mumbai, and then they have a picture now. And to
Yeah.
watch the amazing change that's happened there, not only in the architecture, but
Oh,
I mean, in
100%.
every single thing. It looks like the city doesn't even really belong on Earth. That's how futuristic to me that some of the parts look, because it blows me away. Because my wife had asked me about that. I was like, for me to say like, man, I would love to go check out Mumbai. They're like, well, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
gorgeous. It's like, and then you show them the pictures, like I showed them the pictures, like this was 30, 40 years ago. And I was like, look now, look at the
Yeah.
development, look at everything. It's just so much. So I'm right there with you. It seems like a very exciting place to be.
It definitely is. And also it's a place where there is just so much going on, but it's kind of weird because in London you kind of feel that there's a lot going on, but there's like a center and there's a root and there's something happening. Whereas in Mumbai, it's just so sporadic, things would just happen, but it just kind of happens and comes away, happens and comes away. It's got this kind of fluidity to it that I don't think another place has. And like you said about the architecture, I remember when Mumbai airport was first built, because I think I've been about 4 times now. And I remember the time before it was built, and then actually when we went after it was built. And it's just, I mean, they did take a lot of inspiration, I think, from Dubai, because if you go to both airports back to back, you can see that they are taking a lot from Dubai. But it's just incredible, and they're so forward thinking. Like they are, even in their fashion, and that's why brides like me kind of go over to India before to go and buy their outfit, because if you buy your outfit there, it will be in fashion, when you're going to get married. It's that kind of thing. Like, they are very forward thinking in all their creativity. 100%.
Guilty, totally guilty of stalking your picture of your wedding. And I must say,
Big fat Indian wedding.
Man, I tell you what, you guys look absolutely gorgeous.
I would tell you, thank you so much. I appreciate that. No, I've do you know what? A funny story about our outfits. He was waiting for me to get my outfit to then match his outfit. And I said to him, I can't show you my outfit. I can just show you like a patch of it. He would just send me a picture. I was like, I'm not going to show you my outfit. I sent him like the corner of it, which was like the little red and white bit at the bottom. And he matched it perfectly, like literally matched it perfectly. And when I saw him on the day, I was like, good job. Good job.
Good job.
Good job. And we kind of did a little high five to each other. We were like, brilliant. We haven't seen each other's outfit. And this is great. But yeah, it was a really special day. And me and Vic were talking. So Vic's my husband. And we were talking the other day and we were like, do you know what? There were 3 people close to us that were supposed to be getting married this year. And we thought, God, if it was us, it would have been so heartbreaking, because the planning that goes into it. And if we had to pull the wedding, it just would have been really heartbreaking. So, we were really fortunate that we had everybody that we loved and everybody that we wanted in the room, on that day. So yeah. But thank you.
It was beautiful, and it was very beautiful, and I'm glad it was that special. That's even better.
Thank you you so much.
Way to go, Vic, for matching color. Yes.
He did get he's and that's another thing. So Vic's quite creative as well. He's not he works in finance, so he's very logical kind of guy, but when he lets his hair loose, he's quite creative, and we both kind of complement each other in that way. But he did a really good job. Really good job.
Fantastic. That's awesome.
And we've been married for over a year now. Whew. Bloody hell, it's gone so fast.
17 years.
17. Well, good. Congratulations. Thank you. It's all gonna come out.
I appreciate it.
I like your giant coffee mug too.
Oh my God, my mom gets us either like giant coffee mugs or socks for Christmas, and this has been one of my best Christmas presents ever, literally.
Ooh, we gotta find one coffee mug that looks like a sock.
A coffee mug.
A giant coffee mug.
She's probably out there looking for it. She's like, I can't find it. She's just discovered Amazon. My mom has, which is great.
Oh, that's bad.
She's just always like, oh, I'll show Dad the reviews. I'm like, oh gosh, what's COVID done to like what? It's just made them like sit on Amazon now. I'm like, no, please, you're innocent. You're watching TV. You read books.
The whole world is forced online now. So.
I know. Tell me about it. Sorry, I'm veering you off track.
That's fine. This is why we're doing the show.
That's what this whole show is about. It's about you and the experience and just chit chatting, and it's an interview about you. There's no right or wrong.
Wicked.
That's what I told you. There's really no set formula for the show.
I can't believe it. 24 minutes. She had her own opinion.
Terrible. How dare
24
you?
minutes. No.
I mean, I have no idea. I can't see anything. I guesstimate.
Yeah, that's about right.
Oh, I'm so smart.
He's got internal luck.
So how did you get into voiceover?
How did I get into voiceovers? So I think I'd say probably like when I was studying the extra year that I did in arts ed, there was a big radio hub there. They always used to push the radio, and they used to push radio drama and all that sort of stuff. And they were actually having a whole new recording booth like built there when I was there. So I went to check it out. Obviously it was a big part of what was being built. Andrew Lloyd Webber was also building the new theatre. So it was just, there was a lot of eyes on all the new tech that was happening. So through there, I kind of learned about radio drama, and I learned about audio drama and all that kind of stuff. And then when I left there, the agency that I was first with, they also used to take on voiceovers. They used to take on presenters and voiceovers as much as they did actors. So there was a lot of work coming through from there as well. And people needed the Indian accent, or people needed a younger voice, or something more diverse, or what have you. So I was thrown into a lot of opportunities without, and I think a lot of people say this, you fall into it, but I was thrown into a lot of opportunities that required me to do it. So I'm kind of one for always wanting to understand something. So I always knew that voiceover was an industry. So I was like, well, hold on, if it's an industry, there must be people who train, who are professional. They must kind of know their stuff about tech. They must know their stuff about business. So I kind of just started networking, and that's when like book groups were a big thing. You know, they became real community. So I fell into a few Facebook groups, one in America, one here. And, you know, I started learning from people. People were telling me where to train, what coaches were good, and what reels to get done. And with all of that, you know, I built up a kind of a body of work, and that body of work then just kind of carried forward. And I was working with a lot of people on screen who also were going into animation and things like that. So they always had a crossover. So they always knew that I was doing both things. And, you know, if they needed me for something, they'd call upon me for VO as well as screen work. So yeah, that's the kind of way I kind of held the balance of both of them. And then
Do
yeah,
you do any video games and
I've done about I'd say 3 video games and a couple of animations as well. So it's something I'm breaking into a bit more now. The thing I got hired for and still do get hired for is a lot of corporate work. You know, my voice is very enunciated and it's got that kind of yet kind of casual kind of corporate to it. So I get a lot of work for that. And then on top of that, I have a warmer voice, so anything kind of authoritative and warm, you know, I used to get a lot of that stuff. So online explainers and things like that. And it's only recently in the last 6 to 7 months, kind of pre-COVID, I got into doing all of that stuff and was training and, you know, working with different people for that. So
did you do
yeah,
any like
building the reels. Yeah, go on.
did you do any like motion capture? Have you got into that?
I trained with the mocap vaults. I don't know if you know those guys, good guys, Ollie and Richard Dorton. I think it's in LA. I think that's the base in LA. They have a base here, so they have a big base in LA and they have a big base here, and I think they have one in Chicago as well. And yeah, they basically train in mocap, so they don't get you in the suits or anything, but they get you to understand the principles of mocap because it is technical. You know, I didn't realize how technical it was, so I trained with them for a little bit on and off, but then again, momentum was kind of stopped with COVID, which, you know, they had to turn everything on you know, online. And it's like, how many Zoom calls can you take on one evening? Like, you know, everyone hit that point where it was like, this is on Zoom, this is on Zoom, this is on Zoom. And it's like, oh God, okay, now you got to choose where you got to go. And because I was quite new to it, I found it hard to learn over Zoom. I think people who had already done it for such a long time could take it on over Zoom. And yeah, but I think they're hopefully going to be starting, you know, I know definitely that obviously mocap is continuing with tests and stuff, so I'm hoping that the training as well will continue, and once my time frees up a little bit, I will definitely explore a bit more. So I've done a bit, and I know a good load of people as well who have done it. And face capture, I've done face capture a few times actually, which has been interesting. So that's just complete facial capture for a company who do kind of they do, it's not like medical role play, but they really put people in different positions of, you know, being vulnerable if you've got a medical condition. And, you know, it was a really cool one of having to really kind of express what people do feel in a medical room and how they have a relationship with a doctor and how that really affects the way their treatment goes. And it was really cool, basically, that project. So I've done facial capture like that before, but not mocap as much as I would want to.
Very cool.
There is a whole like science to that motion capture.
There is
I
just
remember,
even remembering just being so detailed about your movement. Now I did do, when I trained, I did a lot of theater, so you know, you're used to that whole idea of having to really, you know, hone into your physicality. But this was on a different level. You know, we used to have physical training and physical classes, but this, it's just the specific kind of elements of it, and having to remember
yeah,
all of that in the bigger picture of the technology as well, you know. But then also the acting and being around people and using things that aren't real, you know, and really making sure that, you know, you're coming across as authentic as possible. Yeah, props to the people who do it, you know, day in, day out, definitely.
yeah, it is. It's a whole nother level.
Hey, is that you?
I know. I can't wait to see
Oh
Jared in
no,
his suit.
I'm gonna do a mocap. I tried it one time, but they kept losing all the little balls they velcroed on me. So they were like, "The hell with that!" Somebody call Omar the tent maker. So I got him down there, and it ended up they just showed a movie on my stomach. It was pretty messed up.
My stomach. You became the fifth Teletubby.
It was so bad. Oh, actually, one
God.
Halloween I went as the fifth Teletubby.
What was
I
it?
made him up.
What did you?
It was the black Teletubby. His name was Ra Ra. I made dreadlocks. And I was literally the Rastafarian Teletubby called Ra Ra. My brother went as Poe. So they were like, where the hell are the other three? And who the hell is the
Well, Rara just ate them all, obviously, clearly.
Yeah, and they were like, the Rastafarian Teletubby, that's awesome. I was like, hey man, yeah, man, it's okay.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Winky,
Oh.
winky. Weirdos, man.
That is brilliant. That's a Halloween costume and a half right there. How was your Halloween this year, by the way? Not veer off with just nothing.
We went out and I've got kids. I got a 16-year-old, 12-year-old, 19-year-old. So ours is we just went out and got candy. We did our own little makeup. We did our own costume contest.
Okay, all right, nice.
We had, we just had fun with it the best we could.
I know some people in this country, they did like Halloween hunts inside like the house. So it was like an Easter hunt, but it was like a Halloween hunt, and like they had to go and find scary things and they'd win candy if they won it. And I know some people had like left like bags of sweets ready so that people could just come by and collect them. Obviously in the nicer neighborhoods. I'm just wondering what would have happened in neighborhoods where foxes would have just come by and just
in the rundown neighborhoods. I don't know about that. That would have been very interesting.
That's it, all gone. But yeah, no, I know, because it's a big thing for you guys out there. So
kind of. I mean, I think
I'm kind of glad
we were in. We usually got like 70, 80, 90 kids, and I think this year we had one person come up halfway up the driveway, and they were like, looked around, they thought it was really scary, and kind of walked away, and that was it.
Just throwing candy out the window, being like, "Hey guys!"
That's pretty much. We were like, "Hey, we have this whole bowl of candy. Do you just want it because you're the only person that attempted to?" No, it just didn't work out too good.
Well, hopefully next year will be different, and we'll have the comeback of Rara.
Right.
I
mean, this was the chance for everyone to wear masks, right? It was Halloween.
I always wonder what it would look like for everyone to look like a ninja, and now that I know,
and now you do.
That's it.
Everyone's a ninja.
I got the goofiest mask though. It's got fish on it, and people think I'm a fisherman. That's the one thing about now is people like they think who you are, who your mask is, and I'm just gonna get like a Hello Kitty one or something, so just to freak everybody out. They're like, "Do you fish?" And I'm like, "No,
I'm a child.
I don't." Thank you though.
There are people that wear those masks that have the smiles already kind of like drawn on them. I don't know how to feel about that, because that is one thing that I find weird, because you can't see someone smile anymore, and it's like you're trying to like overdo something with your eyes. You're like, I'm smiling behind this mask, it's kind of odd. So
my wife went to the aquarium, I think it was 2 weeks ago for her birthday, and it's like everybody was posing for pictures, but everybody's wearing their mask. And all of a sudden I stopped and I started laughing really hard, and she's like, "What are you laughing about?" I was like, "Because we're all jackasses." And she's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Every one of us is smiling underneath our mask." And I turned around and these random strangers are like, "Are you smiling?" They're like, "Yeah." And they start laughing. They're like, "We're all jackasses." And it's just like, and someone's like, "You smile with your eyes." And I'm like,
yeah, I'm like, what is that? Is that like,
it was like, I don't know. I squint a lot. I can mean a lot of things by a squint.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was pretty funny to realize that everybody's doing it. It's not just, it wasn't just me being an idiot. I'm like, hey, under the mask. It was
so
pretty
true.
funny.
So
and you guys are under lockdown right now.
Yeah, we were in the middle of I think the first week in. Well, the election actually took, I don't know whether it helped us, but the election took the rub off the second lockdown, because usually people would be like, "Oh God, we're in second lockdown." I think everyone was just glued to CNN since like
everybody wanted to see the results.
Yeah, nobody was really too bothered about the first week, but I think now that the election results have come in, people have now hit like, gosh, it's odd here, because there's not the panic that there was before, but then at the same time, people have relaxed into this a bit too much. I think, that people are not being as cautious. With that panic at the beginning, there came a bit of cautiousness as well. I think now people are kind of taking it into their own hands. There are obviously those people that still think that this is made up and COVID doesn't exist. So we've got those people too. But yeah, so yeah, it's very odd. It's very odd. It's quiet now again. All shops are shut, and you're walking around and there's literally nothing. There are people finding loopholes though. There are now bakeries, I think, that sell loo rolls so that they can be an essential shop. There's just odd things going on like that. People are really trying to find, and no judgment, because I bet you they're trying to make their business survive. It's hard. But I think what's really heartbreaking for all of us is, and I was speaking to a couple of other business owners here, and they have implemented so much money and time into being COVID safe. They just want to be open, they don't want to shut. They are safe, and we kind of know where the trouble's coming from, from the whole socializing element of it, and and also the underground as well, probably. But people just want to kind of get on. They're like, okay, we understand this is an issue, we found a way around it, and we want to carry on making our clients happy. And some people can't do that online. So yeah, it's odd. Studios have all shut again, so maybe a couple are open in Central now, that stayed open during the first lockdown. But yeah, a lot of people have really skeleton back and just had one or two engineers in and things like that. So
Well, COVID,
yeah.
I think, has really transformed the voiceover
Oh,
industry.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
And it's up to the people now who know how to record themselves, know how to edit themselves, know how to do the whole process without anybody else being involved. And I think those are the people that are going to succeed.
Yeah,
Versus someone who is depending on someone else to record them, direct them, record them, edit, all that kind of stuff.
exactly. And I think it's always been there. Like, I was speaking to who was I speaking to earlier today, I can't remember, but it's always been there that we were moving towards home studios, and we were moving, but COVID has just hurried everything up, and it's made people learn so much faster and be so much better at it. But like with VO, you always find that you've kind of got your performance hat, and you've got your marketing hat, and you've got your tech hat, and like now all the other two have mattered so much more than just the one. And like you said, it's finding kind of talent in all of those areas to succeed. So yeah,
Yeah, it's
100%.
definitely. I think it's changed the game significantly.
Yeah,
Where
definitely.
you have to step up, or you're not really going to get the work.
Saying that though, as well, one thing I've noticed during COVID is there's loads of companies who I connected with. Say when I came to LA last year, there's loads of people who I met, and now I can work with them because they're all completely open to working remotely. I think a lot of people are, because people are open to working remotely now, and it's not even being open, that they kind of understand the process. They've got an idea of how it all working remotely. They're cool with it. So I think you can connect with loads of different people now. That's definitely one plus side. But yeah, like you said, it's kind of going to be the survival of who really knows how to do everything, being a one-man
I think
band.
that's one of the coolest things that I know. Cool and COVID doesn't go together,
No,
but
no.
you used to hear, even when I was getting into it, I think it was 5 years ago, he was like, "Are you in California? Are you in New York? Well, then you can't do voiceovers." It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like, why? What the hell are you talking about?
yeah,
And now it's just like you can literally reach out and get a talent from anywhere
yeah.
and everywhere. And now all these people that were so, I feel, closed-minded might be the wrong word to use, but
Mm.
they were closed off from, even international now.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So it's
100%.
like you can go get any talent. If you're really wanting that certain voice, then you can find it, because everything is available. And like Steven and you guys are talking about, if you know what you're doing, it elevates you so much higher than the people that are just coming in, or even those, like, we had somebody on, they were talking about how the VOs that don't have home studios, the pros who didn't have home studios, were like, whoa, what the hell do
Yeah,
I do now?
yeah. I
So
mean, one minute they're working and going into, we used to call it kind of studio hopping here, where they used to be in, one studio in the morning doing an ad, and then the next studio, and then that was taken away from them. Literally, they had no idea what to do or how to do it. And our agency was really good in the sense that they really supported every artist, because they wanted to make sure that it didn't frighten them, and it didn't, we had a good load of engineers who know what they're doing, and getting it up to scratch. But luckily for me, I already had the booth for like about a year and a half ago, so I was kind of used to it all. It was me just elevating my own game and making sure everything was consistent, and I could connect well, and I knew how to use Source Elements and Source Connect and all that kind of all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I know there are some people coming in completely blind. What is a door? What is a how do you edit this? How do you manage a client live? And just so much stuff. So yeah, yeah, definitely
you need a
definitely
microphone
learning.
to do voiceovers?
I thought you just clap your hands.
Oh, hello.
I can
Yeah,
just use my phone, right?
yeah, yeah, under a duvet. But yeah, no, so it's definitely upped the game. And I think it's I don't know about you guys, but I feel like there's a much stronger community now of the people who are serious and professional VOs. Like, there is definitely a lot more sharing, a lot more supporting, a lot more kind of, a lot of my jobs just come
That's
from referrals now, which is great. But it just
Mm-hmm.
shows how strong the communities are, like, how people are really looking out for each other who are doing this full time. So
that's the one thing that I love the most about this type of community, or this community that is just not like any other community I've ever been a part of, is
yeah,
where if Steven is working with somebody and they're like, man, I really need this voice, and it's just on Steve. Oh, I know a guy, Ted's great. It's like the people in this industry, we don't give a crap about the money. We're like, oh, dude, I know him. You gotta
Yeah.
meet him. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know any other industry that is so giving of just, we don't see dollar signs. We see community and we see people, and like these performances are going to last longer than we are.
Yeah.
So it's just like, when you're gone, what are you going to leave behind? And I think it's just a huge, not only responsibility for us as voice actors, but to convey that and to keep a sense
Yeah.
of just, I guess, overall quality. There's a lot more goes into it.
Yeah. And just going off of what you said there, like the one reason I love anything creative even is that buzz you get when you work with someone, like that thing where you something's not clicking and you're working towards it, and then bang, something just awesome happens. Like that's what you live for and work for, like all the time. And that comes with the people, and it comes with the talent, and it comes with the kind
It
of
looks
dedication.
like you're solving a Rubik's Cube. We're going to put that in there. We're like,
no, it is. It looks like it's happening. Oh, don't talk to me about Rubik's Cubes. I'm so bad at that kind of stuff. My patience can just sometimes be so, it's not working.
I got trapped in a paper bag one time for 3 hours, so it's fine.
Oh man, just
It's easier to take them apart and put them back together.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
removed the stickers.
Or just go on YouTube and look for a video. I'm sure there'll be something, right, that says how to solve Rubik's Cube in 30 seconds.
Absolutely.
Cool. But yeah, no. So yeah. Yeah, that's why we're in it. We're in it for the people.
So tell us about working on screen.
Working on screen. So my working on screen has basically been commercials, obviously Doctor Who, a few of the smaller kind of films. Whoop whoop! I know.
I tell you what.
I know you're gonna smooth over Doctor Who, but you
you can't smooth over Doctor Who, because I tell you what, that is the scary. There's a creature from the Doctor Who universe that is the scariest damn thing. It's made of nightmares to me.
Which one?
The Weeping Angels.
The Weeping Angels. We were doing this the other day. We were
They're
trying
statues, and like every time you close your eyes or blink, they move
Look,
towards
she's
you.
She's looking for it right now.
And they're like statues. And there was this episode where he tricked them with like mirrors or something. It was like, but they're called Weeping Angels, and it's the scariest damn thing I've ever seen.
That does look quite horrific.
Right, that's horrifying. Like when you blink, they move that much closer to you. So you're not looking at them; they come alive.
There was another one as well. Someone said to me the other day. We were going through them all. We were going through all the scary creatures, basically. I'll have to send you a list.
Children are horrifying.
All of them, the toddlers, especially the ones that can't walk.
Teenagers, who the hell thought of that?
I know, right? But no, yeah. As to not smooth over, it was probably. I mean, I was so fortunate to have that opportunity. I went up, so I believe this is the truth. It was me and so Mandip, who is obviously playing Yasmin at the moment. She, me, her, and I think it was another girl. We were just all going for those like callbacks for for that role. And then I think I went for my last callback with Jodie Whittaker, and then she's just freaking awesome. Like and I'm not even saying that, she's just brilliant. She can switch off and on like no man's business. It's really wonderful to work with that whole team. But then so Manu got the role, and then I was really gutted because I was in that role for 3 months of just like, I think it was almost 3 months of auditioning, and and then I got a call about 2 months later, or about a month later, saying, hey, we want you to play her sister. Like, didn't have to audition, just we've seen you enough, we want you to play her sister. And it was brilliant because that whole family unit got a lot of love online. A lot of people are like, we really want to see more of the Khans. I was like, oh, we could do a Doctor Who Khan spin-off, but but it was so much fun. And Mandip is lovely, and Bradley and everybody, like just everyone was just so lovely on that set. And it's a big set, but they really, really make you feel at home. And, for me, it was a wonderful experience, and had just a lot of fun doing a lot of the kind of sarcastic northern girl, which then I got cast for again in an audio drama, which was brilliant. So, it was a lot of fun, a lot of fun. And fingers crossed, I think shooting is supposed to start again, but we have no idea what's going on at the moment. We're just playing, rolling with the punches. So, yeah.
Well, I'm going to flip the script a little bit.
Go for it.
I want to know, because I'm a very petite person myself.
Mm.
What's your favorite comfort food and drink, milady?
Oh, favorite comfort. Oh, okay. So I'm not a savory person as much, right? So for example, Vic could eat like a whole pizza and chips, and he's like really like, I could just literally skip all meals and just have dessert. Like that is who I am. Like if you just give me cookies and donuts and Indian snacks, like Indian sweets and stuff like that, I'm game.
Happy as
Like
a clam.
that's me. And as for drinks, so I don't really drink, and that's not out of like that's not a religious choice or anything. It's just I just don't really drink. I
Like
don't.
milk or coffee?
Oh,
or...
oh, oh, as in alcohol, like
Why are you? Because I'm Irish. Oh my God, Bob.
There he goes. Yeah, I don't drink nothing. I just literally.
This is Irish cream.
There's nothing in this. Literally, I'm just sipping away.
Yeah, right. It's
No,
air.
It's air.
It's a prop. We
Yeah, it's a
we brought
prop.
props.
What props? No,
We have props here too.
I like your
TV
mug.
land.
I do like your mug though. It's got a dog on it. It's nice.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes, I've got
That's
it. It's dog lover.
Dog. Oh, that's quite a
Aw.
big mug, actually.
I
Seeing
told
as
you I
we're
love
comparing.
big
Jared,
mugs.
Jared, have you got a mug there?
Clink.
I do. I feel inadequate. I have a small mug.
Get yourself on Amazon and get you a big mug,
Yeah,
boy.
just put him.
Well, I
like,
left my other one in the kitchen
Big one.
because I didn't want to make everybody jealous. And
That's right.
Nick's
boy.
just gonna bring it. He's sitting in it. He's sitting in it. That's how big it is.
I drink a
He's
salad bowl
inside the
usually.
He's
cup.
inside the cup.
I'm currently inside of it.
But no, what were we talking about? Oh God, I've now.
I have no clue.
veered off. Oh,
This-
comfort
this-
food and drinks.
We've
So-
completely gone off the rails.
So like in,
Chugga, chugga,
term-
whoop, whoop.
in terms of drinks, so in terms of drinks though, on a singers already.
Sorry.
just gonna be a segment of just all of us just doing this.
We've all it's
Mini
just
dance party.
we've completely gone down the deep end now.
Oh, it's
We're gone.
fine. It's fine.
We're
it's
gone.
fine.
And it's all Jared's fault. You know that guy right there.
No, yeah.
It's-
no,
it's-
I'll
his
take
food
the
question.
blame.
take the blame. He'll take the
And
blame.
we
But-
went to alcohol and sugar and yeah,
and no
it was just
milk and no
crazy.
drinking.
Yeah, and no drinking.
But
It's
saying
terrible.
actually saying that, I'd probably say one of my favorite drinks is milk. Like I'm a sucker
Oh.
for like a bag of cookies and milk. Like
Oh
that's
my God, yeah.
I'm at home
So
with
you-
that.
Forever a child. I
Oh
love
yeah,
it.
Smarties cookies. Like when you get that dip and then you get a Smartie in it, it's
Yep.
like
Uh-huh.
brilliant. That's it. It's wild right there. But yeah, oh, the same question back to you guys. What would you have?
Mm. Ooh.
You weren't expecting that. No, I'm joking.
No, no.
No
Oh,
one ever
honey, we
asked
can
us
talk about
questions.
food all day. Biscuits and gravy and peaches and yams and greens. I cook in my house. I'm the
Yeah.
cook. So, God, my favorite day is about to come up, Thanksgiving, because I get to cook
Ah,
from
it's
morning
nice.
till night. I like to do that. That's my favorite meal, like all inclusive. And I'm a drinker. I'm a bourbon guy, so I'll have my bourbons throughout the
Nice.
day. But we have this huge rule in my house that we have an open door policy on Thanksgiving. So it's more about fellowship. There's like the whole day, but the food, like you can always tell when somebody puts love behind what they're doing.
Yeah,
So-
100%.
But like the
Nice.
whole, I do a Dr. Pepper glazed ham. That's pretty awesome.
That's nice. That's kind of really similar to like when people cook with chicken and Coke, right?
Oh, yeah.
That kind of idea. Yeah.
Brining type,
Yeah, my
thick, sugary, candied. Oh,
my uncle used to make a killer. So you know Malibu, like Malibu is in the drink Malibu, Malibu
mhm.
chicken and coconut. So he
Oh,
used to
wow.
make it like that and just literally douse it in. So good, so good. But like me and Vic, we made ramen for the first time yesterday. I think it was the first time. No, we made it a couple of times before, but we made it from scratch yesterday. And like that's another thing I could kill. I could eat noodles all day. I could eat just ramen noodles all day. Just so good, especially
You
in the
like-
cold weather.
You like drunken noodles too?
Drunken noodles. What? Am I missing something? Drunken noodles?
Oh, you don't know what drunken noodles are, see?
No. Okay, I'm gonna Google that too.
So
So
they came up with drunken noodles because there was a guy who wanted to make noodles, but he was so drunk
right.
that he didn't bother, making nice little thin noodles. He just like made them real thick and
Real-
clunky and
okay.
just threw them in a pan and said, all right, I'm done. And so that's kind of like what drunken noodles are.
Okay,
You
great.
definitely don't get drunk eating the noodles.
Oh, I was,
Almost
gonna, I was,
don't
I was
panic.
hoping they would be like I don't know,
Don't
like
panic.
like doused in whiskey or something. No, oh,
Light them on fire. Yeah, right. No, it's nothing like that. It's really good.
nice. We'll try it.
Yeah.
all right. I guess I'll get this thing back on track since you yahoos can't.
Yeah,
I'm
please.
just-
Help us.
Question.
Mm.
You can I would like to know what advice you would give anyone coming into this industry, whether it be on screen or on voice, like whether it be about confidence, just one tidbit from you that would you think would really help stretch the eons of time to stay with someone.
Stay with someone. I think,
Maybe something that helped you.
yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things that help me. I think one thing is, and I know a lot of people say this, but you won't know it until you really know it and kind of embrace it yourself. And that is honestly just being yourself. Like the whole idea of finding that thing that makes you you and just showcasing that in the most, like, not in like this kind of obscenely egotistical way, but just saying, hey, this is me. And always being kind of content with where you're at. Because in this industry, I mean, I've got, if you look on my PC and you, or my Mac, whatever, and you look at the reams of stuff that we're always having to do, like I need to contact this person, I need to send this off, I need to do this, I need to just be really content with where you're at, because where you're at today, bless you, where you're at today, you'll you know you got to kind of take it step by step. It's a massive industry with so many people and so many opportunities that you can just easily get overwhelmed. So kind of really break it down. And I think I subconsciously did this at the beginning of the career, but I really knew I wanted to do comedy. Like I just really wanted to do that. So I, as much as I think it's important doing everything, and I did whilst I was studying, I did drama, I did, the classics, I did whatever. But whilst you know what you really want to do and you know who you are, you kind of get a little diagram. I'm going to use my hands again, but you get a little diagram, you figure out where that overlaps, and then you go for it, and you really embrace that. I used to find people who used to do my work, used to do work that I used to love. And I used to just hit them up on Instagram and be like, hey, I really like your work. Could we work together maybe? And maybe it doesn't go somewhere, but maybe it does. And there was one guy who we made a whole web series, a comedy web series. And that went onto I remember that went onto the front of my show reel before I had Doctor Who. And it maybe helped land get Doctor Who. I don't know. But it was one of those things where you really just, yeah, I think that's what it is. I think be yourself, embrace that, show that off in the most kind of, the best way that you possibly can, and be nice and be kind, because people will honestly remember that. Like, I know so many times that, I've just emailed people and followed up and talked to people and taken the time out of my day to talk to people. I think it's super, super, super important. And I think, and as a community, we naturally do that, but it's definitely really, really important. And yeah, and train, god damn it, train. And I know people do say that, but there so many industries out there that don't stop training. You are learning all the time, and sometimes we forget that we're not always working all the time, not always on a job all the time. Like somebody who does a 9 to 5 in finance will be on the job all the time, so their training is kind of there, with the people that they're with and the jobs that they do. We could very easily fall into this pattern where we don't actively train all the time and brush up on our skills and learn something new. And I think that's super important. Sorry, that's like more than one, but yeah, all those things
Don't become
just,
stagnant. Don't become comfortable.
yeah, that's what it is,
It's
stagnant.
just
I
like the
think,
world is going to continue to move. Don't stop just because you're content. Content is the death of a career.
and don't be overwhelmed by that. Like, I think one thing I had was this fear of all the stuff you had to accomplish, but you've got to kind of almost say to yourself that you'll accomplish it in steps. You'll meet somebody and that person will give you a job, and you won't even realize it, but you'll learn so much from that job. You'll take it to the next audition. And I think it's just about being super, super, super duper open when you're in that opportunity and you're doing that thing, be it training, be it coaching, being whatever it is. And yeah, and just being okay that that's where you're at. And if you wake up every morning motivated and excited that you're going to learn something new and you're going to make a new connection and you're going to smash an audition, you might screw one up but smash one. If you wake up with that feeling every day, you're in the right industry, because you're just so pumped to be there. And I think that's super, super important. Yeah, find that thing that makes you pumped to kind of want to get up, even though you might not have a job until 10, 11 o'clock, and something comes in or something like that. Just keep kind of keep focused and keep motivated.
That's awesome. That's great advice.
Definitely.
See, you did it.
Right? Yeah. I've
Yeah.
got one more question. I'll hand it
Go
back
for
over
it.
to Steven.
Go for it.
And you can choose to answer this one or not. It's fine. It can tend to be rough
Oh,
sometimes.
oh God. Oh, what's it
Um,
gonna be?
well, everybody's always cute rainbows and unicorns and stars and everybody. I want to know something about a time to where it was really trying for you and where the wind and you feel like you've been punched in the gut and you had to get up and like what made the difference? Like that could have probably killed your career or whatever at that
Mm,
moment.
mm.
Because I think we all have one, but we don't talk about them. But I think that's a really empowering thing. So if you would like to share a moment to where, you know, that would be really awesome. And I invite you to do that.
Amazing, amazing. And I will definitely, because I think, and thank you for asking such a question, because I think we don't talk about that stuff. I completely agree with you. Our social media pages are filled with, oh my God, I'm doing this, and oh my God, I'm doing that, and oh my God, I'm doing, and it's just actually, it's like, great. No, definitely great. Embrace the good stuff, but talk about the bad stuff, because if you don't, then it brews and it comes into your work. For me, there was one time, I'd say it was probably, I can't remember the exact age I was, maybe, but it was just a bit into my career. And I'd had built such a momentum, and I was like, great, I've got good agency, I'm getting great opportunities. And then things just stopped, like they really stopped. And it was quite dry for a while. And I was doing the same things, and I was auditioning and I was training, and I just didn't know what I wasn't doing right. And I think it was like a good few months where I kind of wound myself up in my own head, and I was like, I just got into my own head, and I literally was like, I'm going to throw in the towel. This is it. This is the breaking point. And obviously, when you do that, that's probably when your biggest opportunity comes along. And I think it was just before Doctor Who came along. A couple of months later, Doctor Who came along, and for me, what kind of got me out of it was, I'm a big believer in it starts from you. Like I've always been that. And in our Indian culture as well, it's always about using your mind and body to be the best person that you can be. And for me, it was about just getting grounded again and knowing, like, just filtering all those rubbish thoughts out of your head and saying, actually, no, why did I start this? What motivates me? The people around you, that was massively, massively important. I'm so close to my brother and sister, and I thank them for like all the support they've given me, be that like letting me kip on their couch while I was all, first auditioning, and every little thing. My mom, when I was younger, she used to drive me to all the auditions, and my dad used to do the same. And then my husband came along, and well, at the time we were seeing each other, but him himself, like, he was just a complete cheerleader, not once being like, you're not going to do this, always being like, you've got this, just wake up every day, you've got this. And I always say to people, have one massive cheerleader in your life. And for me, it was my parents, to to my husband, to my siblings. Have that person, and remember those things, and do not let, this is one thing my husband's taught me, actually, and props to him, is, and you can tell I talk about him a lot, because we do have that really strong relationship. And he always used to say to me, he's like, even if you've had a rubbish day and the auditions haven't gone well, which you will, you'll have days where auditions, or the job just didn't go the way you wanted it to, or whatever it might be, don't define yourself in that job at the end of the day. You're more than that job. So always find something that defines you more as a person. So for me, be it like writing, or be it, my family, or be it Vic himself, whoever it might be, there's something that makes you you, that you bring to your work. Find that. If you're in a bad place, revive that, and that will revive your work, almost, without sounding kind of too philosophical about it. But definitely 100%, everybody goes through it. And I think you have to go through it, because you have to know how much you want it. It has to teach you how much do you really want it. Are you going to give up? And one of the really big piece of advice that I've heard, so this is not coming from me, but this is something I've heard that I always love to say to people, is the person who fails is not the person, who doesn't do well. It's the person who gives up first. If you keep going, you will find success. It might not be in the exact way you pictured it, but you will, every single person will find success, and hard work, opportunity, and that's where the success is at. So definitely 100%.
That was awesome.
Golf applause. Golf applause.
Thank you. And no, thank you guys for asking and spending time with me.
That
Many
was so
laughs.
great.
I had the best time. Steven, you got any more questions, girl?
I think I'm good.
You good?
I think I do have one more question. Where can everyone find you if they wanted to find you?
Yeah. So actually just had new website done, which actually would be
Yeah,
great place to
beautiful.
Great,
go.
by the way.
Thank you so
I
much.
checked it
Props
out.
to my photographer Nish, and props to Jonathan Tilley for doing it all for me, and the months that we slayed away to get it done, but we got it done. So yeah, head on over to www.voiceofbavnisha.com. That's all my work, and then that's all my VO work, and www.bavnishaparma.com is all my acting work. I tend to be on Instagram at Bhavnisha Parmar, so check me out on there. I'm on Twitter at Bhavnisha P, and yeah. And if you really, really want to delve into my life, go on LinkedIn and type in Bhavnisha Parmar, and I'll be there. But yeah, it's
I'll
all
check
good.
that. I didn't look at that place, but I will go look.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I can't tell you how it's been really fun. This has been a really good interview, and I really appreciate you cutting out and carving the time for us. Man,
No sweat.
amazing.
No sweat at all. And thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. And it's great to hang out with you guys as well. Definitely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, everybody, that does it for another episode of VO in Stereo. As always, I'm your host, Jared Breshers, along with
Stephen Coghill.
We had Bob today, we had Bob today, we had Bob today.
That's it. That's my next musical.
Right? Bob.
Just get my little pom-poms. No, I'm joking. But yeah, thanks guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you everyone for coming, and we'll
We'll
see you
see you next time.